Hello, friends. Today we are going to discuss the book review of Hind Sawaj that was written by M.K. Gandhi. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Rohool Banka, and I have done post graduation from Delhi University in political science. I am an educator at Innovative Academy. I'm based in Kashmir. You can reach me at rohoolbanka@gmail.com. Uh, Hind Sawaj is a mini text of around 70 pages. It's divided in 20 chapters. It was written by Gandhi himself on India in 1908 during the journey from London towards the South Africa. So this book is written in dialogues, in which we can see the conversation between the reader and the editor. This book actually reminds us the Socrates dialogues in Plato's famous book, that's the Republic, because the Republic was also written in dialogues. Um, it was a conversation among different disciples of Socrates, where they have a conversation. So the interesting thing is that Gandhi wrote this book with both hands. Imagine, a person writing a book with both hands. So it's very interesting thing. Uh, in the first chapter, Gandhi discussed about the Congress officials and their role in the foundation of the self-rule. So Gandhi said, Congress officials have helped us to unite the people of different sections, because India has a huge diversity of religion, race. You have a diversity of culture. So he believed that Congress have encouraged the people's interest towards the concept of Swaraj. It was not easy because India is a huge diverse country, right? So the major issues that are discussed in this book are many. He criticized so-called modernized civilization. Some major issues are parliament, civilization, railways, Hindu-Muslim unity. He talks about lawyers. He talks about doctors. He talks about machinery, and he also talks about education. So, regarding Indian civilization, to be far, Gandhi said Indian civilization is far better than the other civilizations in the world. Gandhi believed that modern civilization, is in the kingdom of Satan, and that we call, in Urdu we say that Satan is Shaitan, and the ancient civilization is the kingdom of God. So Gandhi believed that the ancient civilization of India, is the kingdom of God. So he was more, close to nature, a sort of spiritual kind of guy. But I personally feel that there is something good and bad about each civilization, of every civilization, as we know that in fact there were a lot of evils like sati and other practices were happening in the existing civilization of India, right? So when it comes to the other issues like railways, Gandhi believed that our difficulties are of our own creation. He opposed the railways, blaming it for the increase in crime rate, famines, and urban alienation. So I agree him on this point, but there are other positive sides which the current generation is enjoying. Had it been a situation that we had no railways facility here, so it was difficult for a poor people, to move from North India to South India. So it's everything has its own advantage and disadvantage. So when it comes to lawyers and doctors, Gandhi is also having very complicated opinion about both of them. He thought himself, you know, he though himself a lawyer, realized that um, this was a truly disgraceful profession and caused harm to the society. So he believed, two people should solve their issues within themselves rather than going to other third party. So when it comes to doctors, he just talked about it like doctors cured the symptoms and not the cause of the disease by prescribing drugs. So Gandhi felt a person should suffer from the symptoms so that he is careful the next time. Uh, Gandhi, when he talked about machinery, he was totally against the use of machines, but he we cannot say that Gandhi was against innovation. He was against a sort of machine that was, you know, invented in the Europe. So he believed that it would turn us into slaves, because the the amount of production that was done with these machines, he felt like people will become money minded, and they will become unhappy, because this sort of mentality, the way they will start thinking about production, money, and all other things, it will make actually people poor spiritually. So he had a sort of he created a sort of very strange relationship between speed and love, where he said that the more we you know have intensity of speed in making something, the less we start having affection towards it. Imagine in the past where people used to write a letter. Just an example, like people used to write a letter, to send it somebody or their beloveds. So it used to take months, to get response out of it. But and th- th- there was a lot of emotion with those letters when we used to send to anybody. But right now you have your mobile phone using WhatsApp, so it you send a smiley without any emotions. So what Gandhi says, like, the things that we used to make earlier with the hand, it used to have more value as compared to the things that we made out of machines right now. So he's having this sort of relationship, which is actually creating a sort of a very fascinating thing out of it. When it comes to education, Gandhi believed that the ancient Indian system of education was better, than the one under British rule, because British provided the modern education. So he believed much of what was taught in the school could only make a person literate, not educated. So he was not in support of this sort of formal Western education. He believed in more vocational type of education. He believed that the real primary education lied in the character building, you know, rather than studying arithmetic or geography. So he focused on the moral aspect of education. So in conclusion, we could say, he had discussed a lot of things in this book. If anyone wants to know about Gandhi's thought, it's important for him or her to start from this text, which really gives us the basic idea of Gandhi's political thought. So, and yes, if you go through this book, you might as well realize that about 6-7 decades of freedom, which we are celebrating even today, might actually be of a false kind. So he believed that the real Swaraj couldn't be attained in driving the English out of the country. He believed in his tradition, which was the basic stone of the idea, that is, self rule, or we call it Swaraj. So Gandhi was more into the Indianized type of civilization, and he believed in it, and he actually rejected the Western typical sort of modernized education, modernity, you know, missionary, this sort of bureaucracy, everything. So this was it. Like, I suggest you to read this book. It's a very interesting book, and please share this video and subscribe us for more useful content. Thanks very much.